What's going on, guys? So today on this Shoky review, we're going to be taking a look at something old, really, technically speaking. I mean, it's all the way from, holy crap, 2017. And it's, wow, okay, hold on. I just had to grapple with the idea this is a Gundam review. Gunpla review. Huh. We do that here? Either way, this is the HG Build Fighters Gundam Schwarzritter, or Schwarzritter, if you really want to go there. And this is the masked second G generation's mobile suit. It is the second Meijin Kawaguchi's Gunpla, and this is from the amazing Ready manga. Wow. It's late, guys. I'm tired. Alright, so of course we do have some nice artwork here of the Schwarzritter, and then you do have a big old castle in the background. That's pretty cool. I assume that's straight up out of the manga. It does look fantastic. It does say Bandai Spirits 2017. That's a long time ago. That's legit. Holy crap, is that 6 years ago already? Holy crap. Alright. So, yeah. It's been a minute since I've done any of these kits. And if you come down here to the bottom, you do get action. And you got the Flügelschwert and the recreate dynamic poses with super flexible parts. Okay, that's the thing. Comes with a variety of hand parts. And then you got Windows. And, what is this? What is this? Can't read it. Didn't realize it's kind of blurry. Lights are a little out of the way there. Okay, the back wings can spread wide to recreate the condition of flying. Good job. Characteristic goggles are recreated with clear parts. Goggles? More of a visor. And then you have the Flügelmesser. And then you've got the will of the second generation Meijin has been passed down. I mean, yeah, technically, if you go from that to that. Spoilers, which I'm still pretty sure we've never actually reviewed that. It's in the collection somewhere. Alright, I've come around to that side. You got number 55 in the line. That is a lot. There were so many kits in the Build Fighters line. And then you got BandaiHobby.net. I don't even know if that website still works. Probably. Who knows? Schwarzritter, Bandai. And come around here, you get obligatory front and rear shot. You got all the specs there. It's pretty tall and weighs a bunch. Unit data values given by the builders in the series. Good for you. The images are for illustrative purposes only. Does not represent actual Gunpla action. Alright, hold on. Let's see if I can read this tiny little print here. Masked the Gundam Schwarzritter. Mass second G generation Gunpla and participate in 8th World Tournament. Modification is of the Cathedral Gundam created by the second generation Meijin Kawaguchi, created to an astonishing level of perfection. Utilizing its high mobility, it can get close to the opponent directly, start melee combat. Machine, Black Knight in German. And its true name, Jet Black Gunpla. Unit is later modified further to become Denial. So it technically started out as a Cathedral Gundam, became the Schwarzritter, and then from there. Side story following Meijin Kawaguchi third during the 6th and 8th World Championship, which were not depicted in the animation series. Yeah, that would have been a very cool thing to have there. And you do have, keep this away from 3-year-olds, because the second Meijin is, yeah. Alright, and you got illustration by Koma, background images by Yamamoto Hiroyuki, which, you know, pretty cool. And then you got the little guy with toilet and polybag PP, PSP with plastics. No price over here. I didn't purchase this. My friend Corey purchased this for his son, and I built it for them. So it's one of the few times I actually have a commission of sorts. So, first Gundam review in a year? Question mark? I don't remember, to be totally honest. And it's still upside down. That's what we do here. And something else we do here, but we haven't done in a very long time, is build montage. So, you, guy behind the camera, cut to the build montage. Ha! Let's go. So do you guys know what's worse than trying to film a white thing on a white background? Trying to film a black thing on a black background. So I do have here the very base Gundam of the Schwarzritter here. And, yeah, it's pretty cool. Black and gold and lightish grayish color. Not quite white is really what it is. And you got some red going on in the middle there. Pretty easy build. I think it only took me a bit of an afternoon. That was it. And by the way, if you do want to see much of a build log, get the behind the scenes kind of stuff, you can do so on the Patreon down below. If you want to help support all of my channels, not just this one, but of course you'll see out the box reactions and stuff like that to Transformers. You'll get build logs and build reactions. You know, as I build things, which I haven't been doing lately, but I want to get back in the swing of things. And yeah, so it would just help the channels out. And I would greatly appreciate it. So either way, black and gold stuff, and you can tell it is incomplete. I wanted to just show the regular Gundam by itself without any of the accessories and stuff. So, and I'll show off articulation and whatnot, but let's first try to zoom in on that very stylish head with the so-called goggles. And you can see he does have some cool metallic blue eyes back in there. You can see it there, along with a nice metallic blue camera. And I didn't do my old school thing where I tried to make a rear camera, because I just sort of had the plugs back here that I guess are left over from the Denial design, where the hair, so to speak, goes into the back of the head. I did remove the safety nubs off of there because, you know, why not? He does have, it is hinged at the bottom and a ball joint at the top, so it does do back and forth, but due to the neck, it's got a little bit of limitations. Not the neck, the collar around the neck does have some limitations. It does have a butterfly joint built in, which is pretty cool. I like that. It's always good. And the color separation is pretty good. Why is my focus like not? There we go. Alright, and we do have a captured ball joint there. We do have a shoulder joint that can go up. You just gotta have to move that up and out of the way. You got these little blade thingies coming out of here. And if you can see here, I did try to paint this instead of using the stickers. That was really hard to clean that up. That is just a primer gray that happens to be very close to that, and is acrylic, which was kind of a pain in the butt, if I'm honest. Let's see here. Can go all the way around. It's a little limited on the out due to all the stuff that's going on here. You do get a double elbow joint, like so. And bicep rotation. Oh, it's got the offset elbow that can go backwards. You can do the broken elbow. That's not fun. This does not rotate, though it would be cool if it did. Just ball joint wrist on this one, but this is also the weapon holding hand. You can see the tab inside there. Also a little bit of paint there. Didn't quite get that coverage even with another coat. It just like left a valley. It's weird. Goes over here. I did miss that initially, and actually I had to get that at the last second with paint. Alright, so the torso. So here's part of the problem. So you can see I've got some movement here. But if you've built the Denial or even the Cathedral or even this thing, you'll know it's kind of a bad design with the way that the ball joint with the polycap goes into there. It does tend to pop apart very easily. But I actually filled it in with a little bit of super glue and then some extra paint to build out the joint so that it had some extra oomph to it to help keep it together. The one at the hips is still a little bit loose, so it does limit the movement just a little. Actually, it also kind of makes it slightly taller, which is fine. We do have a little bit of hip skirt movement here. Oh, got a paint fleck here. Weird. I don't know where that came from. There's no paint here. That moves up and down. We do have these cool drop down side skirts that are actually part of the hip, but it's cool that those can drop down and kind of out of the way, so you can get way out to the side. I'm going to zoom out now. And realistically, if you get the arms up, so if you don't pull that up, you do get limited. So if you pull it down and out of the way, you can get a pretty good, if not perfect, Jean-Claude. You do have kind of offset hips there that can tilt up and down as you saw there, so that can move. I think the back skirt will flip. Yeah, there it goes. Back skirt does move to allow some backward movement. However, the front skirt really does limit forward movement. So I guess you're gonna have to drop it down and do your best. I don't, that's weird. Very nice universal joint built in down here on the hips, though. I like the color separation here of the gold. Also, this thruster can pivot a little bit if you're so keen. You know, you got that situation going on there. I'll need to unlock this. All right. So we got a double jointed knee, which can bend there. It's limited by the butt skirt and the front skirt. Can't quite get much further. This is initially a sticker, but I painted it with just some semi-gloss black. Came out very nice over the gold. These are also meant to be stickers. I just painted those with the same primer. Came out okay, but couldn't panel line it because, well, didn't have anything I could really do it without making a bigger mess. And then paint there, paint there. You do get a little bit of movement here on the ankle guard, and then the foot itself can move around about that much, which is fine, I guess, because this one wasn't meant, I guess, to be as big a fighter, quote unquote, as the Denial. So I think the Denial does have a little bit more movement, just in probably eliminating some stuff. Now, speaking of the stickers that I didn't use, do want to show off the sticker sheet here, because I didn't do like an out the box or anything. And you can see here, you know, 4 of these stickers, I was like, boop, 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 and then little gray stickers here and there. I mean, worst case scenario, I might use these little guys here to go on those little shoulder bits, but I'm not too concerned with it, if I'm honest with you. All right, so let's go over the sheer number of hands this guy comes with, because it is a Build Fighters kit, and it being the type of Gundam it is got many hands. Gotta find them all here. They're all in a thing. All right, so we have splayed out hands. Where's my focus? It's like way out here for some reason. And these have an actual hinge in the wrist and the ball joint itself. Those are fine. We do get normal punchy fists, which are all fine. They all use the same, I forget which hands use the different backing, but for the most part they all use the same back of the hand. And then you do get the karate chopping hands, so it does come with all the cool stuff that you got with most of the fighting Gundams from this series. Now, he does have 2 weapon handles here for the most part, sword handles, whatever you want to call them. Does not have beam sabers. It actually has solid blades. So let me pick this up here, and we'll come to the butt skirt back here. And you do have the tab slot there in the handle, which is hard to see, but you just plug it on there like so. No big deal. Look at that. Now, he does come with extra handles, which will come in handy, or at least one of them will. So you've got bonus handles, which I guess is always a good thing. But no storage for extra handles. And also no storage for these blades. So he does have some very short stabby blades. And they just do that number. I have to put my hand out here, else you wouldn't be able to see it. Pretty cool. I actually like this. It gives you a weapon to use while you're not using the ridiculous backpack weapons. I didn't see the name of these on the box. Maybe I missed it. Oh, those are the Windlocked, or the Windlock blades, so that's fine. So, you know. And if you want to hold stuff, pretty easy. Come to these hands, and yoink the back off, and you got the tab in there. And this is like the best kind of stuff, and I love that they have this on an HG. And if you line that slot up like so, you do have to kind of do it blindly a little bit there, and you can hold that blade. And so I'm going to leave that there because it's going to become useful later. In fact, I'm going to go ahead put the other one in the other hand while I'm here. Where is it? There it is. I actually got it backwards in there because frankly we're going to be using these really soon, so I might as well do it. There we go. Bonk. So there's that. The only thing, like I said, the only thing that kind of sucks is there's nowhere for these blades to go. Like, it would be nice if they could at least tuck up under there or something, but I mean, I guess they're meant to be, you know, the Gunpla magic of blade retracting into a thing that it clearly can't retract into. You know how that works. You've done Gunpla. Oop, I'm trying to get to my little thing here. And so, of course, what we need next is our little version of Cup from Transformers here. That is a spot on... There's a spot on description here. Look at this thing versus a G1 Cup. I'm going to bring it up right there in the edit. Or hopefully I will. Okay, so this is your backpack. You do have a slot in the back. You do got a big golden thruster bit there. So you got the clippy-doo. Line it up. Lock it in place. Don't mess with it too much or that will eventually wear down. I've had this happen on other kits. So, you know, leave your backpacks on, kids. And, by the way, I didn't even mention it does have, like, little thrusters and stuff. And this dark gray, blackish plastic. Nubs don't clean up the easiest. But also, I couldn't find my buffing pads. I think we threw them out. Alright, so we do have his blades here. These are the, not Flugel. Flugel was the big one. Messers. So this is the, these are the Messers. So there they go. And what you do here is you plug it on the back to make it a wing. Like so. And then you grab the other one, you put it over here. Like so. Yeah, like that. You got hinges, It looks good. I likes it. And then you actually do have more hinges. So you can open that up. And open this up. So you can spread the wings out, make it look a little bit more like, say, I don't know, like a Freedom or something like that, where he's got the wings all spread out. So you can give him a cool look like this. It is interesting that he doesn't have a shield or anything, just big old swords. And like I'm having an issue just with the fact that, you know, I'm on a smooth surface here, and his feet are kind of smallish. Like, so it is a lot of weight to be directing. Okay, so that's the first time that's happened. So got to be wary of that. Make sure you don't accidentally push off your little side skirt armor there. Come on. Because he doesn't have a ton of ankle movement, which is definitely limiting. This guy will definitely benefit from a action base. Okay. So, I guess it's time. Let's go ahead and do the swords as swords. So let's go ahead. Well then, did not expect that to happen. Simple enough fix. Just gotta line it back up. There we go. I will say, like, I'm not fond of this mold. I wasn't keen on it when it was the Denial. And with it mostly being the same, at least base kit, I should say, that does suffer a lot of similar problems. And actually, I do have the spare runners to show the difference. So I'll do that here at the end. And like I said, I have the Denial, but it's buried. I have no idea where it's at. Okay, so go ahead and get your swords lined up. And just plug it right in. Like that. And then do the same thing on the other side. Of V. And there we go. And it's got two big, ridiculous blades. Which, I'm going to be honest, I don't know that I like this look. Because the backpack really does kind of make it for me. Like, the wings make it more for me than the swords, personally. But, you know, if you like yourself some giant swords that have an absurdly large guard at the base, which means you only have like this much actual cutting or stabbing ability, you know, it is what it is, I guess. Okay, so there is a couple other ways to do this, so you can combine them into one big old short, as we did see, but we need the base of one. I'll go with this hand. So we'll go ahead and unplug it from there. I'm going to leave that handle there for the time being. And then we grab our adapter, like so. And I'm going to stick a shorty short in there. And stick the other one in here. And the little clippies inherent to the design. Stick it together to make the flugelin. And there we go. Now he's got one ginormous sword. Which, you know, it's cool, but would have been cool if it got longer. Like I said, once again, this big honking thing there. It's very similar to what the Astray does with it. If I'm honest, how the hips situated? That's what I was thinking was going on. There we go. Okay, so there's still one more thing you can do. You can dual hand this thing if you're so inclined, utilizing what we've already got here. You can actually, you really do have to finagle it though. I'll make sure that's all together. The thing is, it would be really awesome if the forearms could rotate, but they don't. So you can, in fact, depending on how you swing it, pun intended, you can get this situation, which is not ideal. Actually, when I was messing with it initially, I got it to hold this much nicer. So let me turn over this arm here. This is where it being locked into the hand does actually hinder it a little bit, but it does allow you to really get a hold of this. No pun intended. Yeah, it's weird. It is cool that they gave you the ability to do this, and I know it can be done better, but like I said, it's late. It is late on a school night, and I'm doing my best here. So I guess if you want to have this situation happen, you can do this, which is cool looking, I suppose, but a pain for sure. In fact, I don't even know that this is still plugged into the hand properly, but it could be. All right, so let me undo this, and I'll come back for some final thoughts. Okay, so I did find the only action base that I have out here, so of course it can't fit on a normal HG stand, no big deal. And it does look a lot better when you don't have to rely on its feet to do all the work. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, I like it better with the smaller swords, personally. If I'm going to say some of the really bad nitpicks, the leg design does not lend itself to a lot of posing, especially with the way the ankles don't allow you to really point the toes down or tilt for ankle rocker. You know, the limited front skirt along with these huge side skirt situations don't allow you to necessarily get a ton of posing out of it over here either. Like it's so friggin' limited, it bothers me to a degree. The other thing, of course, is the design of the torso, where the ball joints definitely pop off. Could be because it's just an older kit. Polycaps just don't want to stay in there. I did have to reinforce with glue and paint, you know, basically just build up the joint so it would stay together better. The build itself was actually fairly easy, no problems, no real crazy issues with instruction or anything. And it was nice to finally build a Gundam kit again. It's been so long. I do still have plenty in my backlog along with other kits that I'll get to at some point in time. It would look, of course, significantly better if you repainted all the gold. Gold plastic is always iffy. It can look fine, but it does look better when it's not. And I think that you'd be okay using most of the stickers. I think that these right here, which would do the top of here, are probably be the most difficult, along with making sure you line up the black to cover the knees. I think that came out significantly better just by doing a little bit of paint work on it. Other than that, you know, it does look cool. It looks very cool. It may not function very well, but it definitely looks cool. This is definitely a form over function type of kit, and you know, it is what it is. Second Meijin doing his thing over here. And then of course this turns into the Denial, which, like I said, wasn't that good of a kit, if I'm honest with you. Now, I do want to show off the differences here, because you do get a whole lot of excess runners like you do with a lot of these things. And, of course, you do have leftover polycaps, whoop-de-doo. But you do get all of these bits and pieces. Now, I don't recall off the top of my head if these are Denial or Cathedral parts. If I'm honest, I haven't checked out here. You do, of course, have different backpack. Very similar situation here. Not entirely certain what this, what that part do. I actually don't know. This is clearly backpack with no extra stuff attached. This looks like it would be, that's probably adapters for different things, if I had to guess. You do get other bits here, which I think this is the back of the Gundam itself, because that's what it looks like. Could be wrong. Or it's an alternate backpack, it looks like. This looks like a different chest piece, because that's the same hinge. You got some, what look to be shoulder joint things, and you do have different hips here. Different vents there, probably for the shoulders, if I had to guess. And then, of course, you have significantly different pieces here. Different shoulders, different thigh pieces, if I had to guess. Yeah, those are definitely thigh pieces. Front skirt, I believe this is all Denial. So, I mean, if you probably couldn't complete the look, you'd be pretty close. Because you're really only just swapping out the difference in parts. So, you'd have this part here. Assume the same gold trim on there would go around that. I think these appear to be the knee guards. So, you'd swap out the knee guards, got different feet on it. So yeah, I mean, you could do something more with this if you were so inclined. I'm not, because it's not my kit. So it is what it is. You got all these leftover bits, and of course you got all the hands and pieces and whatnot. And I don't have anything to compare it to. Apologies. Just life. It is what it is. So that's going to be it for this review, guys. Let me know what you think. Of course, go back and rewatch all the Build Fighter stuff that I have done over the years. It is crazy to think that it took me this long to get to this kit, but once again, this isn't for me. This was for a friend of mine, actually for his kid, and I do hope he enjoys it. So, of course, thanks, Corey, for allowing me to at least build a kit I've never done. And, yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. If you had some of the similar issues to what I did. Does your Denial have all the similar problems that mine did, to the point that I just left it in the box? And, yeah, I'll see you guys next time. And I do, of course, have other out the boxes and stuff like that coming. Join up for the Patreon if you want to see all the stuff that I normally would do there. And now that I can get back to doing reviews, I'm feeling a bit better. I will be getting on to those Q Ranger reviews. But in the meantime, I'll see you guys next time. Remember, as always, keep on building.